Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California. From trivia nights to title fights, your voice of choice, the stunningly stupendous student of stupidity, Ozzy V. And also with me on this program, as always, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Well, by the time this airs, I will be great because I will be playing Eye on Life 2. Very excited for this sequel coming out. First game was great. So, how about yourself, Ozzy?
Good. I'm glad you have a game you're looking forward to coming out. For me, I am waiting until May. The end of May. It's two games coming out within days of one another. There's
Batman?
007. It's Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight, and the 007 First Light game. They're coming out within 2 days with one another. So what I'm asking for my birthday for my wife is just time. That's all fair. I want. What do you want for your birthday? I just want time. Just write down on a piece of paper, here are 2 hours to play video games, and just wrap that up. Done.
You're getting socks.
I'm getting socks. Also, with us, ladies and gentlemen, is Flesh and producer Todd. How you doing, Todd?
Chilling. I could use some socks. I wouldn't complain.
What if they were socks with clocks?
Socks. As long as they're not Crocs, I wouldn't care.
What if there's some Sonic socks?
Not bad. Not bad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we do have the pleasure of reviewing and discussing Disorderlies from 1987. Before we jump into this real quick, obviously Disorderlies, starting the Fat Boys, the music group, reminded me of a news article I read earlier this afternoon. It is January 11th on the date that we're recording it, and at this time there's been some new policy shift in terms of the food pyramid and dietary recommendations. And now what I was reading is that the U.S. Department of Health recommends 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of weight. Do you understand why I'm upset?
You could have been eating a lot more meat.
This is the United States Department of Health that's telling the country you can have 1.2 grams or to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of weight.
No.
What's the point? What is the point? Like, this should be the final nail in the coffin for the U.S. system, or the pound. You know, if you're not going to use pounds in your official statements from the federal government, then why are we even using this system anymore? Well, just get on with it. Just join the rest of the world. That's all. Just really, really bothers me.
Even when they seize cocaine, they're never like 20 pounds of cocaine.
It's ridiculous. Anyhow, I just had to get that off my chest. But now that I have, let's check out this trailer.
Okay.
If the Three Stooges made you laugh yourself sick, the Fat Boys could put you in the hospital. In Disorderlies, this greedy nephew is having unhealthy thoughts about his rich uncle.
When he dies, I'm going to inherit everything.
What?
What I need are the worst orderlies in the history of nursing care.
This can't possibly be the new order test.
Is the world's noblest profession going to the dogs? But the Fat Boys aren't the heavy. Their job is to breathe new life into an old Palm Beach millionaire.
Stop the mouth!
And they're going to save him the best way they know how.
Put me down!
By accident.
You guys kill me. Another night like this and I'll die.
So relax. Get some rest, eat properly, drink plenty of fluids, and try to survive the Fat Boys. If the Three Stooges crack you up, the Fat Boys will fracture you. In Disorderlies,
They should have said
they're
black
three
you
of the biggest heroes you'll ever meet.
That is pretty funny. Yes, that was the trailer for Fat Boys, again released on August 14th, 1987, rated PG with a runtime of 86 minutes. Would like to emphasize this is the year 1987 with a PG rating. There is nudity involved for the
4
parents.
boobs, 2 S.
I will say, because my cousin had this. I'll just jump into initial thoughts after I just get into the writers and directors and stars. Written by Mark Feldberg Mark Feldberg and Mitchell Klebanoff. Directed by Michael Schultz. Starring the Fat Boys, Darren Robinson, Damon Wembley, and Mark Morales. Also featuring Ralph Bellamy. Now, going into the initial thoughts, it was always my cousin that had the official VHS tape of the movie. And even though it was rated PG, anytime we'd watch it, there'd be a point where my sister and my cousin would both say I'd have to leave the room. And then I could come back, and it was just that pool scene. But I did have the opportunity to
So when you came back, were you like, why are these guys getting arrested? They weren't doing anything.
No, I still heard.
Walk.
No, like I just left the room, so I couldn't watch, but I still heard what was going on. So I knew that they were, getting called on for staring at because there's also a line that one of them tells Marky that they were looking at naked girls, and Marky's like, "What? Naked?"
Yeah.
But I had an opportunity to record this off of KCOP. It was the Thursday night movie of the week. And I was so proud of myself because I was, I think, like 8 or 9 at the time. And what I would do is anytime I would record movies off TV, I would pause the recording at the commercials. So that way I wouldn't have to worry about them when watching.
Right.
And I remember at one specific cut, and I love watching this movie because I always remember this feeling I had. It's the scene when Marky discovers that the pills have been thrown out, and then the scene transitions into him going back into the room to tell the other guys that his pills were thrown out. That was a commercial break on the TV version, but I did such a good job in my editing with the VCR that it was like the VHS copy. I was so proud of myself at 9 years old being able to do that. But I always had such fun memories of this movie. Just the soundtrack's really fun. And
So I have a question. I'm gonna back up. How did they handle the pool scene on the TV version? I don't remember. I remember seeing it. Was it just out of focus, or did they cut around it?
No. Okay, so the actual phone call of them calling saying, "Oh, we have peeping toms," because that scene itself, that shot also includes nudity. That was not in the TV version. In terms of you just see Cool and Buffy were walking. They heard the girls were swimming, and they saw, the TV shows them taking off their clothes, but obviously nothing there. It shows them smiling at each other. And then you just, for the majority of that scene, you just see the two of them.
Gotcha.
And then they do like a brief, 1 second shot of the girl going up the slide. That was probably the one shot where her back is to the camera, right? But she still understood what was going on. But just I unfortunately watched the TV version as my standard version way more times than I saw the actual official version. But I still always had a great time with it. How about you guys for initial thoughts?
I mean, this is another one for me. But I always enjoyed this era of music. And so I was excited to see where it was going to go and what was going to happen with it. And yeah, it's definitely from the 80s. Although I do feel like there was a moment that if this movie had been made 15 years later, would have had a great opportunity for a joke, because when the guy tells everyone, I'm going to show you how to skeet shoot, would have made a completely different meaning after 2002 So yeah, would have been a lot funnier for a great bit. But yeah, this was a fun flick to get into.
Yeah, this comes from the era rap was still kind of like treated as a novelty act a lot, and like I Fat Boys are probably some of the earliest rap music I heard too. I'm never ones I really like kept listening to. I mean, besides their classic "Are You Ready for Freddy's," always one that I'll still throw on. Got a great video too, but but the movie itself, it's just fun. Like they had no shame, I guess, with the Three Stooges because that's all I thought it was a complete Three Stooges ripoff. And then when I was getting the trailer ready for today, I was like, all right, well they
That
didn't
was
hide
the
from
goal.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's like if you like Three Stooges, and they're right, if that's the type of humor you like and it's fun, Fat Boys were a fun group. They made fun music, they made a fun movie, and is it one of the greatest hip hop classics? No, but it really did start the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Yeah, especially with the sound effects, it felt like a variation of the Three Stooges.
I feel like I've seen that Stooges episode where I mean, it feels like it just belongs like in that era.
Right. I do appreciate everything getting things started relatively quickly. Pretty much right after the credits roll, you get right into it. With how sleazy Lowry is, and the idea of this plot when I say his plot, not like a literal movie plot, but his plot to get the worst orderlies in the history of nursing care. That's such a good opening and setup. You naturally want to see where it goes. At least for me, and even my wife, she wasn't paying attention to the movie too much, but that was like one that caught her attention because there's no stupidity going on before the plot was revealed.
Mm-hmm. Although even using the intro, their intro was already establishing who they were as characters, which I thought was great. That's one of the things I miss about some of the movies that had the intro at the beginning, is sometimes you can really have some character traits portrayed without even having to say a thing. So you can do, like you said, and jump right into it.
Right. And that's something that this does very well. Going into favorite moments. When I was a kid, I used to rewind to this moment because for some reason
you used to rewind. No, never mind. You had the TV version. I might have.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But because for some reason as a child, this always cracked me up, like to the point where I would couldn't breathe. And I was never really understood what Buffy said exactly when he said it. It's when he has the frying pan and he hits Miguel over the head. Like right before he hits him, he said something along the lines of head to bed or something like that. And for some reason, him saying that and hitting him right after just sent me over the moon. I didn't have the same reaction anymore, but I absolutely, as a child, I still love the scene, but now I love it even more, is when they're in the back seat of the police car and use the coat hangers to drive the car. Like that is so because you're already ridiculous enough as is. So that just, it's the something that makes it extra ridiculous, but still not so much so that it suspends your disbelief that much. You could reach the stretch of it. You could it still is within the realm of parameters where it doesn't take me out of it. So absolutely. How about you guys?
I'm glad. I thought you were going to say it. We kind of alluded to it already, and I wish I'd seen the trailer beforehand on this one to kind of get that Three Stooges vibe, because it kind of would have set the mood for this movie a little bit better. Not knowing much going into it, but the cartoon noises throughout the entirety of the movie, the slipping and the slide whistle kind of stuff and all the crash bang, whatever noises, the boinging of the bouncing boobs and everything. Every one of those cartoon noises just popped me. I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. I will say, so funny thing about the TV version, the cartoon noises were not present for the breasts bouncing or when Alfred gets the boner.
Makes
Oh,
sense.
that makes sense.
Those are the two sound effects that were not, I mean, the cartoon sounds that were not added on the TV version.
Let's make this X-rated. We got to cut that boner noise.
Todd?
I got a favorite line and a favorite scene.
Okay.
My favorite line, I don't know if it's humorous or not, but my favorite scene is the mouth-to-mouth scene. Like you saw in the trailer, just the reaction. I mean, Ralph Bellamy, I mean, Trading Places and all the other stuff he's done, he's always good. But just that moment, like him in it, like he works so well with them. It just works well. It's just a fun, like minus the boobs. If you got the TV version, Ozzy will sell you a bootleg maybe, and you can watch it with your kid. But otherwise, you got to cover their eyes for one part, or it was PG. The MPAA said it's okay for you. Come on, you got parental guidance. Look what the fat boys are looking at. But my favorite line does come from that scene, and when he says, "They look like bicycles. I want my woman to look like a Cadillac." And he's like, "I know what you mean." I was like, "There you go."
Yeah, there. I mean, like, just those were some, but there's a lot of good moments in the movie, a lot of hilarious moments, just laughing out loud the entire time. Getting into the critique of it, the one thing that sorry, is just ran over the note that I just glossed over the note that I wrote that said that dog is a bigot. Like, just cracks me up. But I'm so sorry. The dog funeral scene, just every single time, it's just the three of them laughing behind Lowry, and then just, I'm sorry, I had to squeeze that one in there. But getting into the critiques was, I never understood how knocking off one computer monitor knocked out power to the entire mansion. Because it was from the music video that they were making, and they're dancing on top of the desk.
I thought your complaint was going to be the one random music number.
See, and I knew that was going to come up, but I guess I was okay with it because I knew they're a music group, right?
And they were making a music video. But in this movie, they're not a music group.
No, but they're still like, it would make sense for their characters to make a music video if they came across a video camera. So it didn't take me off guard or anything like that. But it was weird for like just one computer monitor to be knocked off the desk, and that caused power to go out for the entire mansion. That was
probably an Apple.
Yeah, right. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually was close to saying the music video part was my biggest thing, just because it felt a little forced, but I was having a good time with it, and the music was good. So I think the part that got me to be like, wait, what? There's a moment where he's got a machine gun, and he ends up getting startled and like shooting the crap out of a grandfather clock. But there's no bullet holes in the wall at all, but the clock gets shredded. But he's going to town on that thing, and it's like, oh, okay, nothing around it gets affected at all. It was a little detail that was a little rough for me, but it was so fun.
Todd?
I don't really have anything. Like, it's not perfect, but there's nothing that I can point at and be like, it's just a film of its time. Yeah, I don't know. It's
to find a critique in this movie does feel a little nitpicky, because they're not. I mean, with that trailer you saw, they're not going for any Oscars or any awards or anything like that. Literally trying to remind you of the Three Stooges. Yeah. So with that, it was really hard to find a critique. And
I got a complaint now. They were bicycles, not Cadillacs. There we go. There you go.
Yeah. But I mean, it's obviously not one of these award-winning movies, but I've always had such a fun time with it. And again, coming in at just under 90 minutes with an 86-minute runtime, it's a quick, good time. It doesn't take up too much time out of your day, and it's always fun. Yes, it's not perfect, but it's still such a great time. I'm giving it a 4.
No, that's solid. In typical 80s fashion, it has some sweet product placement, which brought me back. And like I said, it's a fun time. Has some good music. Laughed. Thought it was zany and weird. I'm gonna go 3.5 on this one. It did feel a little dated, maybe because it's first time I've seen it. I don't have much nostalgia with it. But it was a fun movie overall.
Todd?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm right in there between those two. I had a good time. I'm gonna go with the high one and give it a 4 also. It is. I mean, it's like one of the earliest hip hop movies. It's just fun. Something about it. I don't know. It's what I don't revisit a lot, but I will say this: Warner Brothers, Netflix, whoever owns it at this point, give us an HD remaster. We want to see the bicycles in full clarity, not this 480p nonsense DVD.
Look, I do have to say, a ride's a ride. Whether you
This is true. Sometimes you got to ride in a Bronco too. So
that's right.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to, Todd, did I get a rating from you actually?
Yeah, I gave it a 4 also.
Okay. If you'd like to see this, stream it. It is available to stream on the Roku channel with ads. It is available on Hoopla, Apple TV Plus, and Plex.
It's also on Tubi.
I don't have Tubi on here.
But it is. I'm
Okay. Well, it's also on. Oh, wait. I didn't scroll down. Oh, I actually don't have that available on my list. Okay. But as of January 11th, it is on the channel, the streaming apps that I mentioned, as well as Tubi. Now, Todd, or Greg, do you guys have anything else before we head out for this evening?
No, sir.
No.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you do happen to be in the Orange County area this week, I'll be hosting trivia this Tuesday at the Rush Bar and Grill in Lake Forest. Also, this Wednesday at the Brewery in Placentia. Both nights are at 7 o'clock and free to play and prizes for the top winning teams. Now, if you guys don't have anything else before we head out, thank you so much for joining us. For world-famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next time on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.